Hi, this is the Betamax man. No, we're not working on an HF600, but we are going to steal the voltage regulator out of it to fix the HF450 that I just recently purchased. Now, it just so happens that this one has a new regulator in it. It's a brand new regulator that I installed in this thing because I was thinking that this had a regulator problem, but it didn't. And because I thought I was losing voltage to the head drum, but it turned out it wasn't that. It was the actual head drum was seized. So anyway, I'm going to take the regulator out of this and put it in the 450. This is not complete. This is not like seized. It's not, you know, seized to the point where it won't turn, but it's hard to turn. It's the bearing is shot. See, this thing actually was working at one point, and then the head drum, the bearing went out and caused the drum to not be able to turn anymore. So I can feel the resistance. It's really bad resistance, so I think the bearing is just shot in the rotary transformer. So what we're going to do here, I'll show you exactly what this thing does. So it'll actually play and rewind and stuff, but without the head drum turning, it's not going to play. See, it's turning, the reel's turning, but the head is not. So it's got some really resistance here. But it won't turn hardly at all. So that is why I'm taking the IC chip out of it. So this is going to be the sacrificial lamb, and I know that you guys will say, well, this is a midline unit. I would fix this one instead of the 450, because I think the 450 does have the same head drum rotary transformer. I think it's the same, but this one, you know, doesn't have as much features as the 450. You see, the 450 has frame by frame and everything else. This does have frame by frame, but it does not have the slow motion features that the 450 does. This one just has frame by frame. The other one actually does have the slow motion, so the special effects. So, because I think this one just has the frame by frame. I don't think it has any other features, and I'm just going to use it to, I'm going to fix the 450. So let's get this thing started. Let's get this. I'm going to take the power supply out of it, and we'll take that regulator out. And I don't know where my thermal grease is, my heatsink grease compound, and because I installed a brand spanking new chip in this thing, the heatsink compound should be wet. It should still be wet and pliable, and I can use it and put it in the other one, because if you don't have heatsink compound, or it's known by other names as well, like thermal grease, if you don't have it, the chip will actually burn up. It'll burn up and go out on you. So you want to always make sure you have some thermal grease on the back of it, a paste a nice thin paste little coating on the back of the chip before you install it and solder it into the power supply. So I'm going to pull the power supply out of this thing, and we're going to I'm going to let it unplug it for about 30 minutes, and then I'll start working on the power supply. But I want to pull that chip out, and like I said, this is a brand new chip that's in here, so I want to take it out and put it in. I do got a chip that is coming in the mail, but it's not here yet, and I want to get this 450 going, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take it out of there, and then we're going to go install it into the 450. Hey guys, this is the Betamax Man again, and so I've got the power supply out of the machine, and now what we're gonna do is take the screws out of the voltage regulator and take the circuit board off, and so we can take the old regulator out and replace it and put it back in, and we'll see if there's any other problems. I don't think there will be any other problems. I think that this thing will be repaired. You'll notice that this one has a sticker that says stereo cast. Basically what that is yes, this is a hi-fi stereo machine, but it also can receive stereo signals off air television, like from your cable company or from your antenna. This is what we did back in the day. Back in the day, the broadcasting, the audio that was being broadcasted wasn't necessarily stereo. A lot of times it was just a mono audio signal, and these machines were able to bring in the stereo signal automatically. So we're going to go ahead and get this old IC out of here and put the new one in. So there we go. Okay, so I've been doing some cleaning, major cleaning. This is the old IC that I took out, which is no good, which is going in the garbage. While you're cleaning stuff up and you've got the power supply apart, it's a good idea to check some of the capacitors and other components, because sometimes, depending on how bad the power surge was, not only can that cause damage to the voltage regulator, but it could also have damage to the other components, such as capacitors. Now here's some other chips, but these regulators, these chips right here, they typically don't go out. Here's a Zinger diode. Check the Zinger diode, make sure that's okay. I just tested the Zinger diode and it's fine. I've also tested the fuses. So the only thing left that I'm going to test is going to be the capacitor. So that's what we're going to do now. We'll grab the tester, and we're going to test some of these components. So we're just going to set the camera down, and you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip this over so I can do some testing. I'm just going to test these capacitors. Like I said, I've already tested the diode, the Zinger diode. The Zinger diode is basically just an on and off switch. let's check some of these. This one looks like it might be dead. Okay, there was damage done to some of the other components. This capacitor is completely dead. Now, this cap right here. Alright, let's check some of these other ones here. That one's okay. That one is okay. That one's bad. Okay, so we're going to replace some of these capacitors because there are two capacitors that are bad. So there's two that are completely open. So we need to change those out as well. If we don't change the caps out, we're still going to have power issues. So we're going to put the regulator in. But before I put the regulator in, I'm going to pull the caps and replace the bad electrolytic capacitors. We're going to replace those. Now, these big capacitors, the 25 volt at 6800 microfarad, those are good. Those are just fine. So, we don't need to worry about those. We just need to worry about changing out the little capacitors. The ones that are bad. Okay, so we got the power supply all back in, as you can see, and the new regulator is installed. So, did I repair it or did I not? I would say I repaired it. We now have power light. We now have a beta hi-fi light that is now lighting up. Now we can go ahead and take a cassette and insert it. Will be a testing tape, so I've got one here, and let's go get one. I got one around here. And yeah, it's later in the day. I kind of started working on this thing late. Here we go. There's the test tape. This is a Scotch, so I actually bought this film was purchased brand new. I bought a sealed copy. And this was the used copy that I had. So we're just going to use it. So we're going to see. Now, mechanically, I've already ran through the loading and unloading procedures. So, let's just see. Okay. Sounds a little noisy. See where our counter is. There we go. Counter is working. It's in the beta 2 speed because they were recorded in beta 2. What would have been cool is if they would have had this should actually be lighting up. I think this model has lights that light up, but maybe they're not. Yeah, we might. Let's go ahead and go ahead and put a, let's fast forward. Looks like our hi-fi audio ain't our hi-fi audio light is not lighting up. But it says that it's recorded in hi-fi, so we might have another issue. Like I said, I mean, we can repair the power supply, but it may have other issues. Or the sound just might be turned off. Yeah, so the beta hi-fi light is on, the hi-fi's on. So let's just see what the picture quality looks like, because we do have another issue with this one. It looks like we have a hi-fi audio problem with this, so we might need to do some more diagnostics. Let's hook it up to the TV and we'll see what we get, because if it's not tracking, also the tracking is off. It could be off. If the tracking is off, the beta hi-fi light will not stay on. Let's hook it up to a monitor. It's hooked up to a monitor. Let's give it a try. Yeah, picture is very poor. It's not showing too much on camera, but the quality is very poor. See that? See those colored lines right there? That is absolutely terrible, and that's what I'm seeing. So we may need to go into the head amplifier, because it might be, you know, let's track it until the, see, we're not getting a hi-fi audio. So we have a problem with the hi-fi audio is not coming on. So what I could do is clean the heads, and then we could try a different tape. Because Super Beta is on. Doesn't matter, because it's not a Super Beta tape, so it doesn't really matter whether it's on or off. Well, the picture's a lot better now that I've adjusted the sharpness control. But it's still not the quality that it should be. Yeah, it's a little better, but it's still... Yeah. You can still see lines in the picture, but they were showing up. See those? See those lines? Colored lines there. So this particular model does have issues with the preamp. The preamp can sometimes cause issues such as the picture quality is concerned. As far as the audio is concerned, we need to take a look at the circuit boards and see where the audio board is. See but the hi-fi audio track is read by the heads, because the video heads is what actually plays the hi-fi stereo. But we do got we do got a good play. I mean, we got the machine up and running anyway. Because when you hit stop, that hi-fi light goes back on. So, but this tape says that it's recorded with hi-fi stereo. So I'm gonna try a different tape. I do have other tapes, obviously. So we'll try some other tapes, but I think I'm gonna clean the heads. And I don't think this machine has had a whole lot of use. And the reason why I say that is because look at the video head. The head drum, there's no... Usually you can see where the tape has been riding up against the drum. And this is nice and shiny and clean, and I'm not really seeing that. So that's good. So this may not have a whole lot of hours on it. As you can see, there is quite a bit of dirt on the circuit board. Now that may be affecting the hi-fi audio, or it might just be a dry joint. I don't know, we're gonna find out. So we at least got the power supply working. We just need to figure out why our hi-fi stereo is not working. But I think I am definitely, we're gonna go into the preamp. We're gonna change those caps on the preamp circuitry. After we do that, that may fix the picture quality issue. And the second issue that we're gonna have is with the audio. So let me get another tape. Okay, here's another tape. Let's just go ahead. Okay, the hi-fi's working. The hi-fi stereo is working. So apparently that was a misprint, because Footloose was supposed to be hi-fi stereo, and it's not recorded in hi-fi stereo. Now, sometimes what can actually happen is that the tape is worn out. If the tape is really worn out, sometimes that can cause the hi-fi audio track to kick on and off or not work altogether. But so this is definitely playing back the hi-fi. So I'm glad that we got that taken care of, but we still need to look at the picture quality. But the picture quality doesn't seem to be that bad on this particular tape. So it might have been just that tape was worn out, and that might have been why the discoloration was happening. But I'm still seeing some quality issues. That might just be a worn out tape. You know what? It was the tape. Because I'm not seeing those lines anymore. I'm not seeing those color lines. So yeah, I'm not seeing any discoloration. We can do that so that YouTube doesn't hit me with a copyright. I am hearing some crackling. So, see, if the tracking is off, watch the hi-fi light go out. See? when the tracking is off, the hi-fi audio light goes out. So by tracking it, and now we're getting back, we're still hearing some crackling. So that's most likely due to dirty heads. Well, we've got one issue already taken care of, and that is the power supply. So apparently the footloose tape was probably worn out, and that's why the hi-fi audio is not working on it. It could also be that it had a misprint, because sometimes they do misprint on the cases and stuff, on the covers. But this says Beta Hi-Fi right on the thing, and you go to play it. But this is also a Scotch cassette, and Scotch tapes are crap. See, so we put this one in, and no, it isn't hi-fi. Look, it says right there. So why it's not playing back the hi-fi audio track is probably due to just a worn out tape. See? So let's track it and see if we can get that hi-fi to kick on. There we go. The tracking is off, that's why the... But look at it, this tape is heavily worn out. We did have the hi-fi for a second, but this tape is just worn out. So the hi-fi audio track on this tape well, we did have the hi-fi come on for a second, but that's what's going on. This tape is just completely worn out and is not playing back the hi-fi audio, because you did see the hi-fi audio light did come on. So that's what happened. It's worn out. Now, Scotch tapes are very known for wearing out prematurely, meaning that they wear out before their time. Another thing that they do is they do shed oxide off onto the head, and that's why I don't like Scotch cassettes. But sometimes if you want to record something and you go on eBay and you don't want to pay a ton of money for blank beta tapes, you could buy blank Scotch tapes that are at a low price. The problem is that Scotch will not Scotch, they won't last long. They're just not. They're probably the crappiest tape that I have ever used. You know, they claim to be made in America and they claim to have all this greatness, but you know what? I think Scotch cassettes are crap. That's just my opinion, and that is what I have seen, that these things do wear out prematurely. So, and the quality, the picture quality on this tape was so bad. So that's the other issue, is that it was kind of worn out. The tape was worn out. That's why the quality of the picture was so bad. But anyway, so let's try. I've got another tape here too. Whoops. Losing tapes all over the place. This tape was, I think, another Scotch. Yeah, this is a Scotch tape too. Scotch is crap. Sorry guys, but it is. This tape's another one that's worn out. So if the tapes are worn out, that could also be why picture quality is so bad. There we go. We still hear some crackling, so we'll clean the heads and see what that does. But at least we got this thing up and going. And I'm not going to be able to get too much farther than that, because I don't have any of the 16 volt at 47 caps. I might be able to find some. I think I might have some extra ones. But the head amplifier, usually they're 16s at 47. Or sometimes they're 10 volt at 47. And I do have some 10 at 47, but I think they're going to be 16 volt at 47. But I think for right now what I'm going to do is give this a good cleaning, and then we'll put one of our good tapes in and see how she does. But let me do that, and then we'll come back and see see how it performs. Okay, so we got I cleaned the drum and the heads, cleaned the tape path, cleaned the audio and control track, cleaned the capstan, cleaned the pinch roller, cleaned the circuit board, cleaned the inside of the power supply. So clean the front up a little bit with some Novus. Of course, I'm going to do more Novus on it. I just did a quick clean with Novus. And we have, here's a movie that's classic 80s movie, Gremlins. It's a Steven Spielberg Gremlins. So, isn't it weird that this label is perfectly fine and hasn't deteriorated with the glue? Look at this side. That is the glue that has deteriorated. So I actually had to re-glue it, but let's power it up and let's go ahead and hit play. And this thing will perform beautifully. I am still hearing crackling sound, so I will be looking into the audio board. Let's turn the hi-fi off, and it still has that crackling, so that's telling me that it's a regular audio, linear audio issue. Yeah. Okay, so it seems to do... Okay, so it is something to do with the hi-fi audio, because you turn the hi-fi audio off and the crackling noise goes away. Audio monitoring. Also, I'm not seeing any lights on the volume peak level meter. I'm not seeing any lighting going on there. So it's got an issue somewhere with hi-fi audio. But I can just I go to normal, and it might be, so it's gonna be in the somewhere on the beta hi-fi processing board is where the problem is going to be. I don't think, and obviously the heads are not wore out, because sometimes if the heads are wearing out, that can cause issues with the beta hi-fi. The picture is very good, so I'm happy with the picture quality, and it does play back very well, but you can do auto monitoring, and if you go to normal, it's fine. If you go to beta hi-fi, now the hi-fi is still playing. If you do normal, so that actually, yeah, you hit normal. So if the beta hi-fi is off, so the beta hi-fi is still on auto monitoring. So maybe it might be something to do with the audio board. Might have something to do with the audio board. So you go beta hi-fi or you go normal. You put auto monitoring in normal, and then it's fine. Still playing back the hi-fi. But we're not getting any volume meters. So this might be turned off maybe too, I don't know. So we got a problem somewhere. I've replaced all of the capacitors and power supply except for the two big ones. So I want to find out what is causing that crackling sound. Could be tracking though. Could be tracking, might be a hair off.
I don't want money.
Okay, so what I'm thinking, oops, I just hit the eject. What I'm thinking is the reasoning for the crackling is definitely has something to do with the head amplifier. It's the hi-fi audio track. So I think it's going to be definitely in the head amplifier is why the crackling is going on. So I'm going to go into the head amplifier. Well, there we go, guys. She's all put back together, and in the next video that we'll do on this thing, we'll take a look at the head amplifier, and we'll also see if we can't get that volume meter display working again. So that'll be it for part 1, and stay tuned for part 2. We're also going to take a look at a VHS machine that's coming in the mail, which is a SelectaVision, RCA SelectaVision stereo VCR that's coming in the mail. We're also going to upload the video on the RCA VCR convertible that we had, where the power was dead. And so I'm going to be repairing the power supply in it, and then we'll tackle any mechanical things that might be going wrong with it. So anyway, so we do have a couple of VHS videos coming up for you VHS fans, but for you beta fans out there, stay tuned for part 2, because there will be a part 2 on the Sony HF450. See you later. Bye bye.